Salvete discipuli et discipulae. Hodie legemus Exercitium quartum. We're on page 17 of the exercise sheets I gave you, and we're going over Exercitium 4, quartum. And this one is really quite easy because we have two lists of prepositions. Remember, we learned that most of the time we call the ablative case the object of the preposition, but it's not actually always the case. Prepositions that have to do with being in one place generally take the ablative. Prepositions that have to do with moving or being in relation to another place usually take the accusative. And so look at the margin next to Exercitium quartum. And we have a list of prepositions, ad, ante, post, and the rest. On the other side of the line, we see accusative endings. These are all our possible accusative endings. And so this tells us that these prepositions take the accusative. And they all indicate, like I said, ad means to or towards, ante means before, post means after. And so there's a relationship, there's a motion or relationship. Now, we have a second list of prepositions, aber a, ex in cum sine. And on the other side of the line from those are all our possible ablative endings. O and a are the only possible singular endings, and is the only possible plural. So our job in Exercitium quartum is to figure out, first of all, which preposition are they using? This should be pretty easy because it's just there. Then remind ourselves with the chart, does it take the accusative or does it take the ablative? And when we've determined that, all we have to do is decide which of these endings is appropriate for the word we need to put an ending on. All right, so let's look at number 1. Via Appia est inter two cities, Roma et Brundisium. The Appian Way is between these two cities. Now, inter, what kind of preposition is it? Well, let's look over at our chart. Oh, it's the kind that takes accusative. So now we just have to figure out what ending belongs on Rome and Brundisium. Since Roma looks like this when it's the subject, the appropriate accusative form is Romam. And since Brundisium looks like this when it's being the subject and it's in the nominative, that is also the accusative, Brundisium. Inter Romam et Brundisium. Bene. Pergamus. Number 2. Inter opi, the word is oppidum, town. Sunt viae. Viae sunt inter, between, town or towns. First of all, we know oppidum looks like this when it's the subject, oppidum. It's neuter. Would we say there are roads between town? I don't feel like we would. Between towns. So we need a plural, and we need to know which group it is. And we just used inter, so we know we use a plural accusative. So now our task is, what is the plural form of a neuter? And if we remember, hopefully we remember, it is oppida. Now, it might be good for you to stop the video. I should have told you this at the beginning. And maybe write out all your noun forms so you can see the I, and the us, e, o, or have them, a chart of them in front of you. And you can see that oppidum in the accusative is oppida in the plural. Bene. Number 3. Villa Julii, cuius villa Julii, est prope, and the words are oppidum Tusculum, but we're not sure what endings to put on them yet. Est prope. Villa Julii est prope. Non est procul, est prope. Good as prope, near. Well, it appears to be in our list that takes the accusative. And this makes sense because it's a relationship, right? There's a relationship between Julius's villa and Tusculum. So, is there more than one Tusculum or only one? I think there's only one. And we know, we just did this, we know oppidum et Tusculum, those are the standard nominative forms, so they're neuter. What is the accusative of this? Oppidum Tusculum. Bene, via Julii est prope oppidum Tusculum. Bene. Inter, we have two words, and it looks like it's the word oppidum and the word villa. Non longa via est. Via non est longa. Quae via? Inter the town and the villa. What were we talking about in the previous sentence? We're saying that Julius's villa isn't very far from Tusculum. And now we see that the road, via non est longa, inter the town and the villa. Julius has one villa and there's one town. It's near. And if we look at our chart, we see inter takes the accusative. And we just said in the previous sentence that oppidum, this is the accusative of a neuter noun like oppidum. What about villa? Villa looks like this when it's the subject. What is its accusative form? Well, let's look at that list. Hopefully one of them jumps out at you, and it is villam. That is the accusative form of a feminine noun like villa. So let's read that sentence. Inter oppidum et villa non longa via est. Est prope, non est longa via. Bene. Next one. Julius ab. And it looks like the next two words are the word oppidum et Tusculum. Ad. And it looks like the words villa and suus, sua, suum, it's an adjective, his own. Eat. Eat est. Ambulat. Eat. Julius eat. Ab. Ab. Let's look at our chart. Ab, remember ab means away from, like ab est. Medus ab est. Means he's gone, he's away. Ab means away from. This is easy to remember if you're absent. It means you're not there. Ab. And it, according to our little chart, it takes the ablative. So now, we have the words oppidum et Tusculum, and we have to decide what the ablative form of oppidum et Tusculum are. They're going to be the same because they're both neuter nouns. And if we look at our little chart in the margin, we only have three choices. Guys, we only have three choices of the endings that can go on a or ab, the object of a or ab. O, a, and is. Is is plural. Does it seem like he's going away from many towns? Are there many towns called Tusculum? No, there aren't. So we can eliminate is. It's not plural. It's o or a. Guys, is oppidum feminine? Does it use a? No. So we're only left, if we don't know it automatically by process of elimination, It's opido tusculo. Ab opido tusculo. Away from the town of Tusculum. Ad. Where's the ad? Oh, ad is in the list that takes the accusative because it means to or towards. There's motion to or towards. So what is the accusative of Willa? One of them should jump out. The one with the A. Willam. Ad willam et su. Suus, our choices are suus, sua, suum. We put the ending on it based on what it's describing, right? His own. This ending is feminine and accusative and singular. So we need feminine, accusative, and singular. So we have Julius ab opido tusculo ad willam suam it. Bene. Bene. Dominus in it's lectica, the thing that he rides in that the slaves carry. We know that word is lectica. We don't know what ending to put on it yet, but we know it's lectica. Dominus in let's just, before we hit the rest of the sentence. Dominus est in the lectica. What does in take? Well, I'm going to look at my chart, and it says in takes the ablative. And I only have 3 choices. The word looks like this when it's being the subject. What does it look like when it's being ablative? Well, first of all, is he in more than one of them at the same time? I don't think so. So we can eliminate the plural. Not is. It's not lecticis. It's lectico, or lectica. It's feminine. Lectica. Dominus in lectica est. Inter, and the words are duo means to, servi. Est servus, est Julius, est servus, est inter. Inter, if we don't remember from using it over and over, we can look at our chart again and see inter takes the accusative. It's in the list with accusative endings. And we know the word servus looks like this when it's the subject. So it's masculine. It's masculine. And if he's between 2 of them, is there one or more than one? I think there's going to have to be more than one. So we're going to have to choose a plural accusative ending. And if we know our noun endings well, we know. If we don't, we can look at the list. And are singular. Well, we said it has to be plural. Os and as and a, masculine, feminine, neuter. We said it was masculine. So we don't have any choice here. It's got to be servos do. What is 2 describing? Duos. Servos duos. Dominus in lectica est inter duos servos. Bene. Ursus est ante domin. It must be the word dominus. That's what it looks like when it's the subject. Ursus est ante dominus. Est ursus est dominus. Ursus est ante. Ante. Now, what kind of preposition is ante before? If we look in our list, we see it is one of the accusative. It's got a relationship, right? It's in relationship to something else. It's accusative. And so if we know that dominus looks like this when it's a subject, and does he have more than one master? No. So it's not going to be plural. We can eliminate os, as, a. Our only choices are or am. Dominum, dominam. And since I see plainly that this is masculine, ante dominum. Ursus est ante dominum, davus post. They mean post dominum. Post is like ante, takes the accusative. But they're not going to say davus is after the master, after him. Now we need to remember our is, ea, id. How do we make him in accusative case? Remember, they gave us the e, but I told you guys when we did the other exercise on the is, ea, id and the pronouns. It's e in a lot of cases with the same ending. Dominum, eum. Ursus est ante dominum, davus post eum est. Bene. Quator servi apud it's dominus. That's what it looks like when it's accusative. Or, sorry, that's what it looks like when it's nominative. We don't know what ending to put on it yet, but the word is dominus. Sunt. Et apud significat cum. And they want us to put it both ways. They put a blank in both places. Apud. Near, in the presence of. Which one is it? Oh, apud is in the accusative prepositions. It's relationship. How do we put dominus in the accusative case? Guys, we just did it. We just did it in the sentence before. Domino. Ursus est. Oh. Ignoscite mihi. Quator servi apud dominum sunt. Now, what if we wanted to use cum, with? 4 servants are with the master. Well, with, cum, is in the other list. It takes the ablative. So, guys, these are easy. Is there more than one master? No. Is is out. Is dominus masculine or feminine? It's masculine. So our only choice is domino. So we can say this 2 ways. We could say, quator servi apud dominum sunt. Well, quater servi cum domino sunt. Bene. Aemilia est in will, and obviously the word is willa. We don't know what ending yet, but we'll write down the word. Let's just take care of that first. In, which list is in? Oh, takes the ablative. Ooh, this is pretty easy. Does Amelia have more than one villa? Not that we know of. So, is out. Is it willow? Well, willa. It's feminine. In villa. Bene. Aemilia in villa est. Sine. Sine. Without. And what are these words? The first word is vir, man. And the second word is her own. And we know his name is Julius. Now, we don't know what endings to put on these yet. These are the words what they look like. First step. What case does sine take? Which kind of preposition is it? Well, let's look at the list. Oh, it's on the ablative list. So whatever ending goes on these, it's going to have to be ablative. Does she have more than one husband? Again, not that we know of. So it must be singular. So we can't use the ablative plural is. Now we've o and a. Is her husband masculine or feminine? Sure, masculine. So we have viro, suo, Julio, because all of these things are talking about the same thing, right? her husband, Julius, and it's her own. Now, I know it can be tricky because I say her own husband, and it feels like, oh, it's her own, so maybe it should be feminine, but it's an adjective. So it matches what it's describing, and it's describing viro. Bene. That one was a little harder. We had a lot of empty spots in that one. Hopefully we're catching on at this point, though. Pueri apud Aemilium sunt. Okay, it's obviously Aemilia. That's what it looks like when it's the subject. What is our preposition apud? Apud is in the accusative list. Is there more than one Amelia? No, there is not, so it's not going to be plural, it's going to be singular. And how do I make Amelia singular accusative? Well, I really only have two choices up there, and It's feminine, so it's Pueri apud Aemiliam sunt. Est cum, Amelia. They're in her presence, they're with her. Neque est, et non, neque, ab discedunt. Pueri non discedunt. Ab, her. Now, I would love to just say, oh, let's just put am, because we already used that, but we need to look at the preposition, guys. Ab. It's in the ablative list. We need her, but ablative. Guys, what's the ablative feminine ending there, singular? We only have 3 ablative choices. O, a, is. It's not plural, so it's o or a, and she's feminine. A. Ab ea non discedunt. Manent. Cum matre. Bene. Number 11. Julia ex hort. What is this word? It's hortus. This is the word when it's the subject. Ad Aemilium. Well, obviously it's the name Amelia. Venit. Et it ambulat. Julia venit. Julia ambulat. Ex. Out of the garden. What kind of preposition is ex? It's ablative. Now, she's going out of a garden. Do we know that, do they have more than one garden? I don't think so. So, is out. She's not coming out of the gardens. She's coming out of the garden. So we only have 2 choices, o and a. Hortus is masculine. So that takes away our feminine choice, ex horto. Julia ex horto. Ad towards Amelia. Which kind is odd? It's the accusative kind. Is there more than one Amelia? No, there's not. So we can't use any of those os, as, a plural endings. It's got to be Aemilium, well, Aemiliam. It's feminine. Aemiliam. Julia ex horto ad Aemiliam venit cum quinque the word is rosa, and it's used with the preposition cum. Well, let's take a look. Which list is cum in? Cum is in the ablative list. And the only thing left to decide, well, there's 2 things left to decide, but really it's 1. If she has 5 of them, is it singular or plural? This is not hard. It's plural. Guys, we got 1 plural ablative choice. Rosis. It's the only choice we have for plural. So, Julia ex horto ad Aemiliam venit cum quinque rosis. Bene. All right, there's one left. This one isn't a story question, it's like a grammar question, sort of, but ab non a ante littera, the letter. That's what it looks like when it's the subject. So we use ab, not a, before the letters A, E, I, O, U, and H. H is often considered silent. It does make a or if you, never mind, we won't follow up on that. Okay, first up, which kind of preposition is ante? It's accusative. So we've got to put an accusative ending on this thing. Is there one letter listed there or more than one? More than one, so it's plural. So now our only accusative plural choices are os, as, a. Which kind goes on a word like littera? Litteras. Ab, non a, ante litteras a, e, o, u, and hu. Bene, bene. That is exercise 4. Watch this again, watch any part if there was anything confusing, and then you can move on to the next one and the next video when you're ready. Valete, te scipulite, scipulai.